My friend, this one caught everyone by surprise. While fans were hoping for regular reinforcements, the front office went out and destroyed them where no one expected. A bold, strategic move that could set the season on fire. Before we reveal everything, like and subscribe now, because you deserve to know firsthand who's coming to change the Raiders game. The Las Vegas Raiders are far from done with their off-season moves. Even after selecting young wide receivers Jack Beck and Dante Thornton in the 2025 draft to boost Geno Smith's passing attack, the front office is signaling a willingness to go further, much further. A new trade rumor could further increase the offensive unit's explosive potential. Jawan Jennings, the receiver who exploded in 2024 with the 49ers, is on the Las Vegas franchise's radar. According to Brandon Austin of PFSN, the Raiders are reportedly buying Trey Tucker, an inconsistent but upside speedster, and a valuable third-round pick in the 2026 draft from the San Francisco 49ers, all to bring Jennings to Sin City, and the offer makes perfect sense. Jennings was one of the biggest surprises of last season, recording 77 receptions for 975 yards and 6 touchdowns. He rightfully emerged when the 49ers needed him most. Brandon Ayuk was injured, Deebo Samuel lost his effectiveness, and Jennings stepped up to the plate with confidence and an immediate impact. What's most interesting is that Jawan Jennings' playmaking profile fits perfectly with the system Pete Carroll is implementing for the Raiders. A physical, aggressive attack that values strong receivers and efficient blocking, a key element in paving the way for a run game that will feature Ashton Jeanty, a new addition from Boise State. Jennings, with his strength after the catch and ability to run short and medium routes, would be the ideal complement to Jacoby Myers and tight end Brock Bowers. This trio, combined with Geno Smith's solutions, could completely transform the offensive unit's dynamism. And there's a financial detail that further strengthens the possibility of a deal. Jennings is in the midst of a contract extension year, and the 49ers haven't yet shown signs of offering him the extension he desires. In this scenario, the Raiders emerge as the ideal trade partner, as they have over $48.6 million in salary cap space. This not only makes it feasible to sign Jennings to his current contract, but also paves the way for an immediate extension, showing the player that he would be a valuable and central piece in Carroll's new project. But the Las Vegas front office isn't betting all its chips on Jennings alone. The board is also monitoring other veterans, such as Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper, who could be impactful alternatives. Cooper, in fact, knows the organization very well. He had 225 receptions, 383 yards, and 19 touchdowns during his first 4 years with the Raiders, back in the Oakland era. However, the 2024 season was disastrous for the Alabama wide receiver, who had just 44 receptions for 547 yards and 4 touchdowns after being traded to the Buffalo Bills. Keenan Allen, meanwhile, has a solid track record in the league, but he also had a difficult year in 2024, failing to replicate the elite performances that marked his career with the Chargers. Both options bring experience and leadership, but they would be costly, and there are doubts about their ability to deliver at a high level in the short term. Therefore, the Raiders management seems inclined to closely monitor the performance of the young players they welcomed during the preseason. If Beck, Thornton, and others like Christian Wilkerson don't stand out convincingly, a trade for Jennings, or even the signing of one of the veterans, could be put into action immediately. After all, with Pete Carroll at the helm, there's no room for uncertainty in the offense. And speaking of Pete Carroll, if the offense is already being boldly shaped, the new coach's leadership promises even more revolutions in the locker room. The next turning point could be even more surprising than imagined. Pete Carroll is back, and more fired up than ever. In his first official press conference as head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, he didn't mince words. "We're going to win a ton of games. I can't imagine anything else," he declared. With that statement, Carroll set the tone for his new era in Vegas. After a year away from the sidelines, the legendary Seahawks coach returns with more clarity, experience, and a hunger for victory. The expectation is that he will replicate in Las Vegas the formula that worked so well in Seattle: aggressive rebuilding, a strong culture, and ambitious goals. That's how he took the Seahawks from 7-9 to the Super Bowl in just a few years. And it's no coincidence that this same mentality has already begun to rub off on the players. Carroll makes no secret that his philosophy remains intact. "We have beliefs and principles that guide us. I'm not going to change them. That's what brings results." He knows it will be a long road, but he's confident he can transform the Raiders into a competitive team again. The team meeting on Tuesday afternoon was described as scientific, as he himself put it. Nothing improvised, everything purposeful. And the cherry on top, Carroll will have an old acquaintance by his side who promises to be a key player in reviving his defensive philosophy. It's official. Jamal Adams is back alongside Pete Carroll, and this time, the reunion is under the bright lights of Las Vegas. In a move that surprised much of the league, the Raiders signed the 29-year-old safety, a 3-time Pro Bowl selection and one of the most intense defensive figures of the last decade, on Tuesday. Monday. The news hit NFL news like a bombshell, but for those who closely follow the judgment behind Pete Carroll's decisions, it all starts to make a lot of sense. Adams arrives at the Raiders at a crucial time for the franchise. After years of defensive instability, the team is beginning to forge a new identity under Carroll's leadership. And what better way to add a player who has already experienced the peaks of this defensive philosophy than on the roster? The connection between coach and player goes far beyond the field. It's built over years of mutual trust, elite performance, and a shared vision of aggression and intensity on both sides of the ball. Of course, Adams' recent reality isn't exactly rosy. In 2024, he had a quiet season, with short stints with the Tennessee Titans and Detroit Lions, playing in just 5 games. Injuries and inconsistencies limited his playing time, and many analysts began to doubt his ability to return to the all-pro level that propelled him to the NFL between 2018 and 2020. But according to the player himself, this story is far from over. Adams recently stated that he is in the best physical shape since his time with the Jets, and that his motivation has never been higher. And it's not just motivational talk. Over 85 games in the league, Adams has accumulated 21.5 sacks, an absolutely unusual number for a safety, as well as 4 interceptions and numerous impact plays that have helped him break through as a hybrid defender. He's the kind of player who can line up at the line of scrimmage as a linebacker, drop back in the zone, or pressure the quarterback with speed and brute strength. This kind of tactical flexibility is exactly what Carroll valued most about his defense in Seattle, and what can now be replicated in Vegas. More than a symbolic signing, Jamal Adams' arrival represents a strategic move. The Raiders desperately need leadership in the secondary, and even though Adams is no longer the dominant player he was 3 years ago, his knowledge of the game and familiarity with Carroll's system could accelerate the development of the young players on the roster. He could be the product of the cultural shift the new coach wants to implement in the defensive sector. Pete Carroll, in fact, didn't hide his excitement about his former student's return. Sources within the club report that the reunion between coach and player was filled with emotion and bold plans. Carroll believes Adams still has a lot of fuel left in the tank, and that if utilized correctly, he could be one of the most valuable pieces in the system. The coach knows better than anyone the shortcuts to getting the best out of his safety, and has already made it clear that his intention is to put him on the field from the first snap of the preseason. The question remains, will Jamal Adams be able to relive his glory days? The outlook is challenging, but promising. He'll have a confident defense, young players hungry to learn, and a coach who truly believes in his return to prominence. Of course, there's risk. Adams could have opted for retirement or a minimum contract with any team, but he chose Las Vegas. He chose Carroll. He chose to fight. With so many impactful changes happening at once, a possible explosive offensive reinforcement with Jawan Jennings, Pete Carroll's fearless leadership promising a historic turnaround, and the arrival of Jamal Adams to lead the defense, could we be witnessing a Raiders renaissance heading into a season no one expected? Leave your opinion here. Don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel, but later I will come back to update you with the latest news from the Raiders.